10 years later, you're still here. You're still on board.
A lot of talking on set. Is everything all right? You guys, y'all want to come jump in this interview, or what are you thinking, guys?
Right.
Start him over. Let's go ahead and give him a 10-minute fresh room.
Thank you. Thank you.
You know what I'm saying? I just like your V-neck. You're so committed to that V-neck. I had to give you that start.
Now, action movies are about defying expectations and extreme situations. Now, with the Fast and Furious, it always takes this to a new level. So, how do you feel to be a part of a movie that constantly defies gravity and fights the laws of physics?
I love it.
People, ironically, you know, they enjoy the spectacle of action sequences, but they leave the theater not so much thinking about the action sequences as much as they think about the relationships. That's what's so fascinating about this. In spite of the fact that we've got some of the coolest action ever in film history, what speaks volumes is the characters and the character relationships. That's why we keep coming back and seeing it again and again, because we very much care about the evolution of these characters that we've adopted.
They're pure entertainment. You know, an action movie with a certain amount of drama and comedy. I think people go to the cinema, you know, and they want their money's worth. You know, it's to escape for a couple of hours and be propelled into this fantasy world that borders on reality. And, you know, it's an exaggerated version of, you know, some of the stunts that happen. But to me, it's done out of entertainment.
We love being a part of a franchise that continues to stretch the limits of physics and all these different action sequences. But what makes it even crazy is that I think that a lot of other franchises and a lot of other movie studios are taking notice to how we're putting these action sequences together. And to go even further with that, the intensity and just the levels of, you know, continuing to outdo ourselves when it comes to action sequences is, we're taking things to a whole nother level.
A lot of films take themselves very seriously, and I think Fast and Furious, it has moments of seriousness, but in the end, it gets above that. You know, it really provides an escape for people, and it has these feel-good moments and really exciting moments, and they do it like no other action movie does it.
Well, look, I can just say this, my brother, Mr. V-neck. Mr. Unibrow, okay? Listen to what I'm saying. I'm just like, that was Roman Pierce making a comment.
Yeah, don't blame him.
No, don't blame me at all. I ain't say nothing. Even though critics or people who write movie reviews could come after us, it's all entertainment, man. It's all entertainment. We're not necessarily trying to focus on, you know, winning awards and having 15 Oscar nominations. That would be nice. We're trying to entertain. So
we do it for Mexico. That's why we do this.
That's why we do it.
We do it for Mexico.
Believe it. Tú no sabes, señor, so cállate la boca.
Let's think about this. Who do you think really started customizing cars way before anybody thought about it? Come on now.
Don't know. Seriously, don't know.
The Asians.
No. It was Mexicans.
Was it?
Yes.
I don't know my own heritage.
Trust me. If they were the ones that had the imagination through the roof way before anybody. We owe this to you, Mexico.
How you doing, man? Good?
Great. Just fantastic.
Living the life?
The romance between Dom and Letty has always been an iconic part of the franchise. But I want to know your opinion. What's your take on romance? What's an advice you can give to someone who wants to be in a relationship as passionate as the one Dom and Letty have?
Oh, that's a great question. I think what people love about the Dom and Letty relationship is the unconditional loyalty and knowing who a person is in their soul. If you love the person for who they are in their soul, all the actions, potentially the actions, like in this case, in this movie, where we see Dom's deadly, are second to what you believe that human being is or that soul is. If that makes any sense, I think the secret is some form of unconditional love that's, despite sometimes the visible evidence, like in chapter 6 of being shot by someone. You know in your soul and in your gut that that person loves you. So we played with this this idea of unconditional love throughout the saga.
Now, after seeing your participation in the last movie, some people might say that you were born to play a villain. So with your movie watching experience, who would you say is the best movie villain of all time?
My opinion changes each year. If I see a new movie, oh, he was great, he was no good. It's hard to say who the best villain is.
Who are your favorites?
You know what? I don't really have any favourite. I like I'm a big James Bond fan. I like a lot of the old Bond villains because they're so memorable. You know, the villain in Goldfinger, I remember. They're my favourite types of villains because, you know, I'm British and I grew up watching James Bond. So I think one of the Bond villains would have been one that's would give me the one to hang the hat on.
That's tough.
Ooh, wow.
I would say Dark Knight and the Joker in the Dark Knight.
Immediately I go to the Joker, Heath Ledger. It, to me, was mind-blowing what he did with that character. And I would say that's probably the most incredible villain I've ever witnessed.
I'm a Joker fan. He's not with us anymore, but dope. When you make a good argument for why you're being a villain, and a good person can actually sympathize with you, it makes you the best villain. Yeah, but also the audience has to be with you on that, or you're gonna suck. Yeah.
Now, so we know that Fast and the Furious is not a new franchise. It's been around for a long time now.
Really?
Yeah, for over 15 years.
This is not the first one?
Surprising.
Okay.
But I want to know, how did you decide that you wanted to be in this movie, you know? What was your previous experience with this type of films?
I've never done anything like this. I mean, this is just on such a different level. The more I was having conversations with Universal about the reality of doing this, the more it became interesting, well, what is that role? Like, how do I step into something that's been done so well for 16 years, that people love so much? And, you know, then it became very obvious, well, let's go and cause some trouble.
Your characters made their first appearance in the second movie. 10 years later, you're still here. You're still on board with this work.
Oh my gosh.
Why? What's the thing that makes you come back every single time?
It's because we're African Americans. Usually it works the opposite way. Usually they kill us off, you know, after like the first or second movie, but there's something about this dynamic duo.
People don't do horror
That only happens in horror movies, yeah.
Yeah, man.
On a branch, he would get up and beat up the monster.
Exactly. Nah, man, honestly, I think it's because we balance the cast out, man, you know, with the comedy and just how much chemistry we have because we've been friends for, you know, very, very, very long time, man.
How many years has it been?
It's been like almost 15 years,
We
man.
knew each other before, too.
That's what I'm saying. It's been almost 15 years. So to answer your question, I think the chemistry and just the comedic, you know, the comedic relief of the scenes when it's so serious and so much heavy stuff to deal with emotion-wise in the movie, we balance it out, man. So we are blessed to be a commodity in this franchise and for all the fans at home to be loving and living vicariously through
Vin
it.
Diesel's voice is so deep that we need something to happen.
Have you ever heard him sing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't breathe until I see your face. Oh, I don't need time.
Now, you already gave me an answer for this question, but in Mexican it's, you know, and I'm sorry, but you know, this is the 8th entry of the Fast and the Furious franchise. When are you gonna do the second one for the pacifier?
Oh my God! Well, I told you that's what my son wants. He's campaigning all the time. He wants Pacifier 2 badly. And when I made the first Pacifier, I made it because my nieces and nephews weren't able to see Uncle Vin movies. So my kids don't get to see enough of my movies. So I could easily see myself in the next couple of years returning to that character just so that the kids can watch something. They loved Pacifier, so it's one of their favorite. It is their favorite movie.
I know you had a couple of jobs before this one. And I want to know what made you decide you wanted to be a full-time actor, because you know that's one of the most common dreams people have.
This industry is built on People get an opportunity, and what do you do with that opportunity? And I think for me, it was someone came to me and gave me a part in a very small film, and the movie did good, and it kind of paved the way for me to do more films. You never know when it's going to end. If the audience don't go see a movie, you'll be soon out of a job. So it's exciting, and at the same time, it can be very, very uncertain. I've always enjoyed the prospect of a challenge and getting stuck into something that I don't necessarily know too much about. I'm not an actor by trade, but by experience, I've become that.
We don't know a lot about Cypher, but what we do know is how she was able to turn this righteous and loyal man against his family.
Yeah.
How did she do it? I mean, what's so captivating?
You're gonna have to see the movie.
Something.
I'll just say that what I loved about her, and I've played, a succession of villains in my career. There's something nice about this character because she doesn't rely on the usual tricks of the trade, when you think of female villains, to manipulate her victim. Pretend to give them free choice, but really not give them free choice. So everything about her manipulation is very much, it's way more personal. It's really kind of looking at the person that she's trying to manipulate, in this case Dom, and finding out every weak point within his entire past that she can utilize against him. And so it becomes much more cat and mousey.
Okay, so action movies
Where
are
are you
about...
from again?
I'm from Mexico.
Okay, gotcha.
Oh, love that.
Mexico's great.
Yeah, man, it is.
Action movies are about defying expectation.
We love you, Mexico. Contrary to what some of y'all may believe, we love you.
What? Oh, you talking about?
Who doesn't believe that? Who doesn't believe that?
Yeah.
I'm just putting it out there. We love you. We love you.
He's talking about our current state of
Talking about
affairs.
that other guy and all this drama. We just want y'all to
Current state of affairs.
The reason why we love the support from the Latin community is because what we represent is America, which is diversity.
There you go.
That's what's beautiful about the Fast and the Furious. We want everybody to go to the theater and feel like they can see someone and see all of the different ethnicities and nationalities and religious backgrounds and sexual preferences. Everything about the Fast and the Furious speaks the universal language.
Now, I know you do most of your stunts. Do you think that's something necessary for an actor to do in order to have the action movie experience? To be able to watch yourself on screen and say, that's me, I'm the one doing that.
Is it necessary for an actor? No, because they're actors. If you're going to play Rambo, then you better have some backup. You better have some physicality. I always look to Dwayne Johnson as a great example if we're going to make reference to this franchise. He comes from a very explosive world of wrestling, and he's the real deal. So for me, I always look up and respect that element.
Now, as someone who has played a lot of strong female leads over the years, have you noticed any progress or any changes in how action movies portray women?
I feel like complacency is the most dangerous place that we can get to. And so I watch how I talk about it, because I don't want to talk about it in a way that's not truthful.
Yeah, recently. Now would be a really good time to be a 20-year-old female actress. And I think that a lot of that has to do with the Sigourney Weavers of the world, the Linda Hamiltons of the world kind of paved the way. I think also politically, Hollywood has been attacked for, the 80% of individuals writing and creating all of the content that makes it to the silver screens is men. And 51% of the American population is women. And it's like, wait a minute, we only got like 20% of people working in film in these creative positions that are women. This is sad. And like, even when you look at the actual films and you do a Bechdel test and you see how much a woman is actually speaking, she can be beating things up and blowing things up. It's usually in a sci-fi film, which is not close to reality. We're still far from making a statement on realistically creating a world of dream for women to feel confident in life. We're not there yet, but I'm very happy that Disney has started, so at least the little kids don't have to worry about it. And I don't care, I'm a tough cookie. Like, I could give two rats' asses what people give me. I'll take what I what I create. You know what I mean?
I've been in, you know, Mad Max and this franchise and Snow White and the Huntsman, and there are big movies that have utilized me in a way that I've really I felt valued. Is it enough? Not by far. You know, I want to have more of my female peers being able to take control of films and franchises in that sense. We cannot be complacent and kind of sit back and I don't ever want to be there, even though I'm working so consistently. I feel very lucky and blessed to be working so consistently on those kind of films. I don't want to ever stop the conversation. I think the conversation needs to continue.
Once you grow up and you realize you've got a wall in front of you, your only mission in life is climbing it. You know what I mean? But if these little girls know they can add some DNT to the damn thing and blow the damn thing up, that's perfect, because that's what you need for the future.
One of the reasons why I got to be here today is because I'm a really big fan of the franchise. You know, I was 4 years old when the first movie came out.
Oh, wow.
And even though I loved them, they're gonna have to end someday. I want to know, when that happens, what's the one thing you're gonna take away from this experience?
Wow, I haven't even gotten there yet. I didn't know that. I still have to create more chapters. I don't know if I have the luxury to fast forward. I think there's too much work to still be done.
That there is a platform there, and that if people are creative and smart, they can pass the baton on to a younger generation and use it as a tool to just dream for the world. It's the colorfulness of it. It's like looking at a rainbow, you know? You've got a little bit of everybody in there. And I feel like when I watch a Fast and Furious movie, I'm in a ride that includes the world. And I also love adrenaline and I love action and I like being like, whoa, that's never been done before, or can you do that? And like for me, it's just always like, what are they gonna do next? If you're open and inclusive, then the world will follow, because you're setting the standards. So I feel like there is a responsibility. Most people will be like, just make movies and whatever. And I don't feel that way. And I think that I'm really happy that there's associations like the Academy that are aware of the responsibility of images and information and what you're telling the world. Not every hero is white. Sorry.
My pleasure.
It's a lot to me that you remember. Thank
See, I told you.
You know, I like to consider Fast and Furious like my novella, my soap opera. And, you know,
That's so funny. No, you didn't.